Okay, touch up after touch. Now I've moved this back just a little so that these clear don't get caught, and I've placed myself at eye level with where let off would be. So I sight over the hammer from here, and so there's a little bit of touch up to let off that can happen as well. And this allows me to see if the aftertouch takes the hammer eyes beyond let off. And it does in this case, which means I'm going to add, I'm going to try yellow. Seems good. So when I've gone through and done my best shot, I'll also have a look here. Now these look perfectly even to me, so and I'll also just feel if any are low or high. So there's nothing here that you couldn't get away with. But the refinement is gratifying to have the custom board hammers create a regulation which is consistent. And in this case also I have the different length heels between the sharps and the natural by 2 millimeters that brings the geometry closer together. And so the final detail will be to go through the back checks and just tweak them now that the aftertouch is consistent. Finally, back checks. So I've extracted the gauge key that has a 1/2 inch dimension in this direction. And I use it as my gauge to the extent that I need it. I have the rail all the way up, so the brackets are against the stops, so we're at strike. And that looks good. So I'm just going to go through and the changes that I made in dip for aftertouch were not great, but they're what render the back checking. So if it changes and the back checking was accurate, then the back checking needs to be touched up, and if the back checking wasn't accurate, it needs to be touched up anyway. So one last quick trick to the back checking, and I don't know if you can see from there, but I've applied a little medium super glue at the foot of each of the back check wires, as a couple of them were loose and hard to, well, impossible to get stable. So I'm playing sort of upside down and inside out here. My hand over the regulating rack. You know, it is what it is. You can do it however you want to, and you don't actually have to do it with the regulating rack, but I like to you know, have a rebound. So the other thing that has happened since I last set the back checks is that the springs have been adjusted. And actually the last thing I'll do is I'll just walk through the up weights and the after touches and the spring tensions, because they're indications of how consistent this regulation is. They're the fine symptoms of it.